Alright, so welcome back again. My name is Jesse, and in this wonderful and exciting tutorial, I'm trying to see how to build a very simple application in Python using Django and Bootstrap. So what we're trying to build is a passport photo resizer. So the idea is that in case maybe you want to apply for a visa or something, and there is a requirement for passport, like photos, right? So every country has their own dimensions and sizes. So we want to build a very simple application in which you can upload a file and then you get the image resized, right, based on a country. So let's see the basic workflow. So this is the simple Bootstrap stuff. So I'll start from scratch, and not fully from scratch. So let's start from the code. So I have my basic app structure here. Let's try and explain it. So first of all, we have the core project. Within my core project, I have my settings.py, and then I have my image processor app. So this image processor app is the main app, and if I go back to my settings, I need to add it here. So I'll go back here, and then I add it here, right, so that the app is recognized by the whole project. Perfect. Then I also need to specify the media, because it's an image file. I want to specify the location of the images I want to upload using this option here, right? So the media URL and then the media root. That is the most important thing. Perfect. Now let's move on to inside here. We have created I'll go back to my URLs. So inside my URLs, I've included app URLs, which is the image processor.apps URL, which refers to this one here. Then because I'm not in production yet, I'm still in debugging, I will need to add this one, because if I'm on production, then I'll use Nginx. But still, since I'm still working in developer mode, I need to add this one to allow us to save our media files here, which is important. Perfect. So we are done with the core settings. Now let's move on to the image processing. So here I have my simple URL, which is my views.image index.view, which is referring to this one here. Let's go back to the template. So inside my template, I have my base.html, very simple basic HTML stuff, which is common, and then I have my index.html, which has nothing here. All right, so first let's start with the main app. So I'll go back to my views.py. Before I go to my views.py, I'll just create two files. The first is going to be my forms.py, which is going to be the form that I want to use, and then I'll create my services, right? So the services or utils, right? Services.py, where I'll put in the main logic. So let's create my first form. So it's going to be from Django import forms, right? Then I'll create my forms called passport photo form, which takes in my forms. Then inside here, forms.form. Yep, and then here I'll have my image, because I want to be able to upload an image, which is going to be my forms.image field. Then I can pass in my widgets here later on. Then I'm going to go with my country, because every country has its own dimension. It's going to be my forms.choice field, and this one takes in the choices, which I'm going to call it as my passport choices, right? Perfect. And for this passport choice, I need this option here. So it's supposed to be the image size. So let's say dimension 1, dimension 2, right? And then we just work on this one. I'll just go as my spec 0, and then spec 0 again, because I need to build a tuple. So for spec in my passport photo specs, and this one is what to be using, right? So I'll call it as my, let's copy here. You can, all that I'm doing, you can just vibe code it, but how will you learn all the time? You have to still use your muscle memory. Perfect, right? So I need to get the passport photo specs. So the passport photo specs here is the list of all the how do you call it? It's the list of all the passport photos, right? I have already collected some of them to use for this application, which is going to be as I specified. So we can use it to allow us to select the country. So we have the country, right? The country that you want to use together with its specification. So let me copy it and show you what I mean. So I'll go back here, and then I will show you. So this is it. So it's a list of countries which is here, right? So list of countries and their respective dimensions, right? So we have all of these countries. So the idea is like we have a country, so I can just pick any of the country. So let's pick Germany. I want to create one for Ghana, so I'll just put here, right? And then the idea is that you have the country, so Ghana, and the passport, the dimension that we need, right? And then these ones are going to be the sent here, so spec for spec in specs, and I'm going to pass it here. Perfect. And then now we will now send this passport photo to our views here. So let's go back here, from .forms, import my passport photo, right? Then let's do it like this. So first we will need to specify the form that we want to use. We need to specify the particular form that we want to use for application, right? Because it's important for, this is useful because we need to send to the front end, right, what you want to do. So that is we need a way to let the front end, right, the HTML, know that we want to send some forms there. So it's going to be something like this. So if request dot method, let's go to post, right? If there's a post, do something, else do something. So form passport photo, right? So this is in case we are sending it directly, right? So if it's a get, I'll go with my form, right? So if it's post, use this. If it's get, use this. Then let's do the logic for here. Because we're using a form, we just go with my form. It's going to be a passport form, and this is going to take the request, dot post, and then because you're sending forms, dot files. Then I'm going to say that if the form is valid, I can spell if form dot is valid. If the form is valid, then we're going to get the clean form. So I'm going to create a process content variable, which is going to take in my passport photo. We're going to create a function that's process passport photo, right? And what this function is going to do is that it's going to first of all take in the image, which is the image that we are passing from the form. Then it's also going to take in form.clean data and the country, right? So clean data, then the country, right? So that is what it's going to take. So it takes the two of these things, and once that's finished processing, we will now want to just generate a unique ID. So I'll use unique UID, this one, and then I'll now create a file name that I want to store it there. It's going to be simple, something like this. So passport photos. So this is going to be the location. I'm going to store it there, results, then this takes in the unique ID. Let's go to unique ID. Yeah, perfect. And then this, we can make it PNG, but let's make it JPG. Perfect. So that is all. And then we want to save this somewhere in transit, and then I'll use the default storage. So default storage comes from Django core to save, and it takes in the file name and then the processed content, right? So if I go back here, come from Django core, let's make it better, and then I will now return the process because we want to use it in transit, right? The same page. Where's.path.join, we take in the settings .media URL. You can choose not to store it, then I'll pass in the file name because the file names are unique, right? So I can create a process URL. Let's go to none here, right? This is not best practice, but yeah. Then I need to pick this one. So this one is coming from Django, and then this one comes from call Python standard library, right? So perfect. So that is the basic workflow now, and then I need to pass in my process URL. It's going to be the process URL. Perfect. So that's all. So this is the basic stuff, but we need to work on this particular function, right? So I'll go back again to my services, as I said. So all that so inside my services, I'm just going to go with from, we need to import, so from pillow, import pale image, right? And then we also need to importing the image, we also need these ones here, this photo specs, right? So I'll just go back here to my services, and then from .forms import this, right? Because we want to pass in the labels. Then I'll create a utility function to help us get those things, right? To get this out. So what the utility function is like it goes through the passport photos and then get this size, and then this is the default. Then I'm just going to create my function. So process, the name of the function, this is this function, which takes in these two stuff. So the function is like this, takes in these things. So it takes in the uploaded image and then the label, right? And then it goes through the process. So I'll just copy the code and explain what it does. So we are using Pillow to help us with this processing. Pillow is very useful. So the idea is like this. So it goes here. Let's go right here. So what we are doing now is that we get the uploaded file, right? Then the uploaded file and the label, we get the respective dimensions. Then we open the image, right? And then we check, we do the cropping, right? So we do the center cropping by checking the source ratio and the target ratio, and vice versa, right? And then later on we crop it, then we resize, then we save it as byte.io, and then we return it as Django content file, right? So that is the basic workflow here. So let's go back here. Now we see that we inside our services we are now importing. So if I go back here, I can import it from here. And now we have imported it, right? Perfect. But if I refresh this, nothing changes, right? So nothing changes because our HTML doesn't know it, right? It has no idea about it. So I'll go back to my index.html, and then we will add our form. So the form is going to have two columns. We're going to have two columns that we can show the uploaded file. So I'll copy it to save us time. What we want to do is that we want to get the uploaded file that we have together with, we show a preview of the file, right? So something like this. So I'll just simplify it. So what we are doing now is we have two forms or two columns. The form column, which is this one here, we are using Django card, Bootstrap card. We upload the photo, right? So that photo is going to be, or the image is going to be uploaded. We have the option to select the specific country. We can also add background to it in case you want to do that, but we'll do that later. So let's take it off, and then we upload and convert, and then automatically it's going to preview the processed image, the process URL, and then we can download it right from here. So if I refresh it now, yeah, so let's refresh. Yeah, this is what I did previously, right? So it is stored in memory, right? So let's try it out. So I'll go back here, and then I will pick, we have this lady here. I can try this again, and I can select the country. So let's say Bahamas, upload, and I see that the size has changed, right? I can also try a different country or different image. So let's use Brad Pitt, right? And then if I choose Brad Pitt, it's from, let's say, US, United States, upload, and see that now the image has been resized, right? I can change the dimensions again. So let's use Russia, I don't know. Let's pick Brad Pitt. So now the image has changed, right? You could see the difference within it. So that is something very basic you can build, and then you can actually download it here, right? Perfect. So let's make this beautiful. So we can make the form beautiful. To make the form beautiful, all you need is inside here, you can just specify the widget, and then you can just add the widget from Bootstrap to it, right? And this is how to do that. So you can just add all the widgets, you know. So there are different widgets, just like you would have done in case you were working from Bootstrap. You would have used let's say form select to help you get the selection. So I can just show you an example. So we have it here. So for the choices, I can just do this. Right, so this is the choices, the widget, and then for the images, I can also do this. Right, so we have this two here, and if I refresh it, you see that this is okay, but now it's going to change to become better. So now it's better, right? So this looks better, this looks easy, and I can upload an image, and then we can check, right? So there is different country, there's a one that we added for Ghana, and I can upload another image, right? And if I see that this is already previewed, so the reason we can get this preview is from this JavaScript. So we have some JavaScript here that is doing the rendering. So what we are doing that we get the previewed image from what has been uploaded. So if there's an uploaded image with some variables, it's an uploaded image, then we display it back to the user, right? So that the person knows what was uploaded, which is best UX practice. Perfect, right? So if I go back here and I click, so now it has changed. So what we can add later on is how to allow the user to be able to change the background or to position it well, right? That is a basic understanding, and then you can just download it. So thank you for watching. So we have built a very simple application in Django with Python. Very simple application, very useful, right? So later on the application will be found here. So if you go to usefullbase.com, it's a very new platform, and then if I go back to my platform, we are going to find it in one of these applications here, right? So either it's going to be in the image analytics, or maybe something, there will be another one here, right? So check out this platform also for more. Thank you for watching. See you another time. Stay blessed. Bye.